So let's get started. When you install Smart Notebook software, you will have this little thing on the side here, and if you click that, it will bring some things up here. So this is what would launch the Smart Notebook software. You could also click the Start button, and this is Windows 10. Windows 8 would have all programs. You come down here and you click Smart Technologies, and the Smart Notebook software is right there. So we'll launch it by clicking this here. Now the first time you run it, it takes a few minutes to launch up, or seconds I should say. And this is the Smart Notebook software. So if you take a look at it, just think of it, it's very similar to PowerPoint in that you have slides and pages, and we'll get back to that. So I'm going to put this over here so that it goes in, and I can move this around a little bit. I'm going to move it down out of the way here. So much like other Windows programs, you have a menu bar up at the top. You have a toolbar here that have all the common use tools on it. And then at the side, we have some side tabs. And when you look here, you'll notice on the right, there are these double arrows. If I click that, it moves it to the bottom of the screen. If I click it again, it moves it back up to the top. Similarly over here, I can hit these side arrows here, and it moves it from left or right of the screen. Now on the toolbar, the items are arranged by function. So you'll notice that when you select one of these tools here, there'll be a context menu that appears to the side here that lets you select a little more functionality. If you hover over the items, they'll tell you what they are. So that's a quick, easy way to see what you need. Click it, and then it will bring up the other menus on the side. With items, if there's a little arrow down to the side here, that means if you click that, it'll bring up other additional items that you can use to make better selections. On the side tab here, there's the page sorter that lets you see a thumbnail of all the pages that you've already created. There's a gallery tab that gives you access to collections and pictures and flash kind of stuff. The attachments tab here allows you to insert things like hyperlinks or files that you might want actually in your presentation. The properties tab allows you to set properties of lines and fill effects and things like that. And the add-ons tab that allows us to go into the activity builder, which is a little more advanced. We'll get to that later. Auto hide here will make the whole sidebar go away unless I'm using it. So if I click that and click in here, it goes away. Unless I click one of these again, it'll come back. I'm going to turn that off. So when you first open the Smart Notebook software, it opens to a blank page. The most basic use of the Smart Notebook page is to write notes. And even if you are just writing notes, there's some advantages that can bring to you. So you can easily save and distribute the notes or any drawings that you do. You can rearrange them so you can put one, move the pages around, and it's continuous. You'll never run out of space. And the easiest way to start to write or draw is just to pick up a pen and draw on the screen. You could also select the pen from the toolbar up here, pick a pen, and then you can use your mouse or your finger. So I'm on the computer here, I can use my mouse, or I could use my finger right on the board. Once I've written, I can go up to edit, and I can either clear the page or I can clear ink from the page. So if I clear ink from the page, it will only clear the ink and nothing else that I may have already put on the page. Also, if I've set up a page and I want to write on it and then keep it for another presentation later, if I clear the ink, it'll only clear the ink and nothing else that I created in advance. I could also draw and then use the eraser tool to erase, or use the eraser that's actually on the smartboard. And then like any Windows file, if I want to save it and use it later or come back to it, I can go to File and save it. So I'm just going to click Save, and then it's going to ask me what I want to call it. So I'm just going to go to my desktop here, and I will call it Smart Training. Then I can close the file and come back to it at a later date. So when you draw, your writing becomes an object. So let me just show you. I'm going to click a pen here, and then I'm going to click the magic or the highlighter pen, creative pen, sorry, and then I'm going to just make myself an A. So once I do that, this A now becomes an object. If I want to select that object, I need to come back and choose the select tool and then click on it. So when I do that, I get this object around it. Now sometimes you might see a little lock here. I'll explain that a little later, but for now we just have our one object. If I wanted to create a second object, I'm going to do that again. And I now have two objects. So if I click on the object, I'll get one. If I click on the other, I get another. If I want to select them both at the same time, once I have selected, I can just draw a box around anything, and as long as it's touching it, it will select it as well, and then I'll have more than one object selected. I can also press the control button, so if I hold one, I'm going to press my control button and then click the other one, and it will keep selecting while I have the control button pressed. So I'm going to get rid of this one, so I'm going to click it, hit my context arrow here, and I'm going to delete it. So now I have my A. So once I've got it selected, I can do some things here. So if I want to move it, I just click it and drag it to a different part on the page. If I want to resize it, I come down here and I can move it, make it bigger or smaller. Have to be careful with the resize because some objects will lose their ratio of height and width. So if I wanted to make sure that that maintained, I could hold my shift button down and that will maintain the height and width ratio. If I want to rotate an object, I click up on the green thing here and I can move it around. And if I want to delete it, like I said before, click the context arrow here, press delete, and it'll go away. I could also go up to edit and I could clear the page. It's currently grayed out because I've already done that. If we come back to pages here, you can see I have one page. If I wanted to have more pages, I could click this little down arrow on my page here and insert a blank page. The pages will number now. So I have page 1, 2, 3, and the numbers will change. So if I want to change the order of the pages, I can click and drag and just move them wherever I want. And notice the numbers will automatically change based on that. I could also name the pages if I wanted to. I could reset them. There's some other things we'll get into a little later here, but right now I'm going to just simply delete. So I can delete those pages. If I put them back in, I can then move around the pages with this. So this would bring me to the previous slide and the previous slide. So you can see how they're selecting with the blue around them, and I can move around. I can also add pages here as well. Almost anything, there are more than one way to actually do these things. So then if I wanted to delete it, I could also come over here and I could delete pages there as well. Another thing you could do is you could clone the page. This is grayed out because I don't have anything on the page, but if I set up a page and then I wanted a page just like it, I could simply clone the page and I'll have two pages the same.